all this for me? So prior to me getting out of the Navy, I went to a couple job fairs, and obviously I filled out applications and shit like that. I didn't want to stop working. I took a vacation back in like February for 2 weeks, and I did nothing. And I was bored out of my fucking mind. I ended up spending money that I didn't really fucking have. But whatever. So I went to these job fairs, met up with some people and shit like that. And I ended up securing a job prior to getting out. It's not like a luxury job, but I mean, it was a job that would pay decent, and I was excited. I really was. I was fucking excited. Now, mind you, like I had joked about like a decade ago with friends of mine that I wanted to start working at McDonald's for a day, make myself some lunch, and fucking leave. I thought it'd be fucking funny. But now, this job I was actually excited for. Now, the job was an internal sales position. I would have individuals call into the place that I was at, and I would fill their orders. Well, I would get their orders taken and stuff like that, put on paper, and issued out to whoever was gonna pull the material and given to the customer. Now, I'm not gonna tell you the company name. So that was the job that I was supposed to be hired on for. Now, mind you, they said that I would have to work in their warehouse to learn their products prior to getting moved into the internal sales position. The original contract had said that up to 6 months. When I spoke with the boss or whatever, when I spoke to the gentleman, he basically said that like usually people can get everything down in about 2 months. And I'm like, okay, I could do 2 months of a warehouse. So on his word was basically, if you learn the product and the material, I basically have no reason to leave you in the warehouse anymore. I'll move you into internal sales because that's what I'm paying you for. I'm like, yeah, basically. So what he would do is, like, the job offer with that was I was getting overpaid to be in a warehouse. And their primary goal was to move me into internal sales, which is what they were paying me, which was more, about $10 more than most of the other people that were in that warehouse were making an hour. So I show up day one, do their little bullshit training. Training's supposed to take 2 days. I get it done in the afternoon. I'm not fucking stupid. I'm not an idiot. So picking up training, that takes no fucking effort. So I start working in the warehouse, day one, in the afternoon. Start figuring some of the shit out, how their systems work and stuff like that. Day 2, I started learning their material. Figuring out what they stock, what they issue out, the names of this shit. Now, by day 3, I knew all of their inventory. By the end of day 3, I knew their entire inventory. So what does that tell you? It tells you, hey, this guy knows our stuff. Move him into internal sales. What does that tell them? Nah, we're gonna leave you in the warehouse. What? I know your product. I know what you're fucking selling. Half of this shit, I know your fucking specs. Yeah, so when I approached him and I was like, hey, you know, ask me about your products. Because I asked him, I was like, when do you think you'd get me in for inside sales? He said, you know, I mean, most people learn anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, how are you doing on learning? I was like, ask me anything. He's like, anything. I want anything. Run me through your warehouse. He's like, what's that? And I tell him what it is. What's that? I tell him what it is. The entire warehouse he goes over. Not like it's a massive, fucking illustrious, massive warehouse. But, you know, they do very good in sales. Like, let's say, anywhere from $4 to $6 million a month in sales. So they move a lot of fucking products. But I'm not your average fucking 18-year-old going into a warehouse. I'm old as fuck now. And I've been doing this for 20 fucking years. So picking this shit up for me is a fucking breeze. And I asked the guy, I was like, who else have you ever seen come into this position and learn your product this quickly? He's like, nobody. I was like, ever? He's like, ever. I was like, okay. Now, mind you, this is Wednesday night. I started on Monday. By Thursday morning, I didn't have that warm and fuzzy that he was going to be moving me into inside sales like he had mentioned after I learned his products. Again, I'll remind you that I was getting paid $10 more an hour to sit in that fucking place than the other swinging dicks doing the job that I was hired on to do. So Thursday morning, I go in. I don't even go into the warehouse and start working. I go into his office and wait for him to show up. And I was like, when he got in, I said, shut the door. He looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. I'm talking to him like I'm his boss. And I asked him, when do you feasibly foresee me moving into inside sales? Now that I know your products, mind you, in 2 days. And he said in about 4 months. I was like, that ain't gonna work for me, dude. I was like, you gotta realize, I've been doing your boss's job for the last decade. Like, you're like the middleman. I was like, now let me backtrack just a touch. Now, the past 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm fucking sore. I am absolutely obliterated sore because I hadn't been doing that portion of the job in about a decade. Am I gonna say I'm out of shape? Yeah, I'm a little bit out of shape, but like, bruh. So I look at him and I tell him, is like, you know what? I don't think it's gonna work out, bro. He's like, well, do you want to, do you want to work the rest of the day? I can make a phone call and we can see about something, I'm like, no, 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 I'm good. So I left. Because what that tells me is you're not in a position to make decisions. That even secures the thought process. Like, you're not running your own shop. You're not running your own fucking area where you have to make calls to fucking make a decision to bring somebody on that you hired them for. No, fuck you. No. I'm going to backtrack just a touch. Now, I did say that I was hired on for internal sales, and I did ask him, how many internal salespeople are you looking for, or how many internal sales are optimal for this job? And he said 3. And now, while I was there are 3 internal salespeople there currently. Then I was working with a dude in the warehouse who was supposed to be moved in to internal sales because he'd been there for 6+ fucking months. So it was his, I guess, whatever, time to move in. But he already had 3 sales. So I'm thinking, like, this dude's gaslighting this motherfucker. There's not a chance that he's going to move him into a sales position and lose somebody for the warehouse. Not going to happen. And then the boss or whatever also mentioned that he just hired another person on for internal sales. Directly, so not warehouse. So here I am sitting, knowing the product just as well as the next fucking dude, faster than every other dude, and he doesn't want to move me into internal sales. So, I'm good, fam. I'll find another fucking job. So within 3 days of getting hired onto a new fucking job, I'd already quit. On the fourth morning, I was just like, nah, dude, this ain't for me. I'm done. And I think that was probably one of the best feelings I've had in a long time, because I've never had that opportunity where if I didn't like a fucking job, I could quit it. It's like, I've been in the Navy for 20 fucking years. You can't just quit fucking jobs. I guess I had to get it out of my system, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta quit something at least once. All this for me? Needless to say, I have at least another job already lined up, but I mean, it's funny that he didn't realize how fast I'd be able to fucking learn his shit. And I learned it fast.